The old man was getting tired from the hours of walking, but he had no time to rest. The November wind cut through his threadbare wool coat, and each gust rattled the dry cornstalks that lined the dirt road. His boots, cracked and weather-worn from years of tending fields, sank into patches of mud left behind by last night's rain. Somewhere ahead, beyond the rolling hills and bare oaks, was Milford Township, and the doctor who might be the only one able to save his granddaughter. Henry Whitlow had left his small homestead before dawn. At 67, he moved slower than he once had, but the thought of Mary lying pale in bed pushed him onward. Scarlet fever had swept through neighboring farms, and now it had reached theirs. Her mother, Henry's only daughter, had cried quietly as she pressed a few coins into his palm that morning. It wasn't enough for a doctor's visit by city standards, but Henry knew the country folk could sometimes be swayed by a neighbor's word and a bit of goodwill. The road wound past pastures where skeletal fence posts leaned like old men themselves. A lone black horse watched from the far side of a field, its breath clouding the cold air. In the distance, a farmhouse chimney sent up a thin ribbon of smoke, a reminder that others were warm and safe while he kept on walking. By midday, clouds rolled in, dimming the pale sunlight. He tightened a scarf around his neck, one his late wife had knitted nearly 20 winters ago. He remembered her steady hands, the same hands that had once soothed him after their son died in the war. Life had taken much from Henry, but Mary's laughter had given him something back. He would not let her slip away without a fight. A wagon creaked into view, drawn by 2 weary mules. Henry waved, and the farmer at the reins slowed. After hearing the reason for his journey, the man nodded solemnly and offered him a lift as far as the crossroads. They rumbled along, the wheels groaning in the ruts, until they reached the fork in the road, where the farmer turned west, and Henry had to continue north. By the time the township's church spire came into view, Henry's legs ached with every step. The doctor's modest clapboard house stood beside it, a brass plate reading E. Caldwell, M.D., catching what little light remained. Henry knocked, breathless, hat in hand. Dr. Caldwell opened the door, eyes narrowing in recognition. "Henry Whitlow, it's been years," Henry explained, voice hoarse about Mary's fever and the lack of funds. He reached into his coat to show the coins, but Caldwell waved them away. "I'll come," he said simply, already gathering his bag. They rode back in the doctor's small wagon, the dark countryside sliding past. When they reached the Whitlow farm, Mary's eyes fluttered open at the sound of her grandfather's voice. He held her tiny hand as Caldwell set to work, the lamp casting a warm glow over the room. Henry stayed by her side all night. The fever broke just before dawn. Outside, the first pale light touched the frost on the fields, turning them silver. He knew the walk had been hard, harder than he cared to admit, but as Mary slept peacefully, he felt no weight in his legs, only in his heart, heavy with gratitude. Some journeys, he thought, were worth every step, every